Welcome back to the HGC North American playoffs, where we're getting things started right out of the gates, as it's 2-2 in this best of 5, Endemic versus LFM Dreadnought, and it is all fireworks for these teams.
It is. It's been very back and forth here between the two squads. But now, you know, that we made it to game number 5, I look at this and I go, I've gotten 4 games of a sample size to feel like I can help you better understand maybe who would get the. But I don't think I can do that. It has been wild when it comes to some of the drafting. We know double support is here to stay. I feel like, at least from the drafts that we got so far. But what double supports, when, and how to get away with it, when warriors are worth your time, it's a big question mark for now.
Well, what is not a question mark was when it's a game number 5. There's only one battleground that you go to. It's Towers of Doom Dreadnought.
Got to go to the Towers to settle it all here for these two teams selected by LFM, putting Endemic into that first pick slot here. Tronda and Towers is a weird relationship here. Sure, her original iteration, this was, most people would argue, one of her best battlegrounds, but that was Sentinel stacking era, right? Where you're like, oh, I can stack, and then I can still be the Lunar Flare threat. So, and then when you look at Tronda now, she's still got the kill potential threat within the 4-man, but this is a battleground where that doesn't happen that often. She still has stall tactics, but usually not the standard build to commit to, so the when and where she comes into a draft here, I feel like is very interesting. If she's ban-worthy or not.
Are you surprised that we have seen 0 Sergeant Hammer?
A little bit.
So this is a map we know Sergeant Hammer has come out before. The other thing is that most of our drafts have seen Genji either 1, be let all the way through, 2 in the second ban. Last game we saw in the later ban part. If you are going a Sergeant Hammer, Genji does come up much higher in the ban slot.
Not yet, though. Still focusing on the supports from Endemic. Ridding of the white main. Abathur or Medivh. Neither. Going to be the Maiev here from LFM. I will say, depending on what this ban is from Endemic, and if they go with another Vala, the trade-off of do you take the Abba or the Tronda, for me, goes Abathur all day. It weighs more on Towers of Doom because it caters to the battleground. A little bit better, not going to be an option. So does LFM decide to go with that? Or as you said, maybe the hammer. It's Tronda.
Which means Medivh has been let through for the first time. See if that is a first pick for Endemic, and it is.
Confidence here from LFM, though. To game number 5, let a Medivh through?
Well, here's the thing. If I learned anything from Team Freedom at the Western Clash, I don't want a Sergeant Hammer Medivh on the other side. And so LFM has to make the decision of Sergeant Hammer here, else we cross our fingers and hope that Endemic doesn't pick that up, because a Medivh and a Deckard and a Sergeant Hammer all on one team, they at least take the Deckard.
But, Jayhao, you just talked about the fear of a Sergeant Hammer Medivh. The best warrior to probably play that into
is a Garrosh.
So if that was the thought process at all, Endemic should just pick it up here in this rotation with very little punishment coming out from it. I'm terrified of that Garrosh rotation and the confidence there.
Riddle me this, though. Dansky would be our primary hammer player, and Dansky is the Medivh player in most senses.
Yeah, but Cure
can.
He can, and so at least from what I've experienced of my time matching and watching a stream, he's playing a lot of Medivh in solo queue. Like, I feel like he's grinding that to be the Medivh for this team.
I think he played it during the not so important match last weekend as well.
Yeah. So we'll see if that does end up coming here into this draft. Yrel, though, picked up 4 Endemic in the last rotation for that off lane. Gotta wonder if they want to rid of a Dahaka, one of the few battlegrounds where he really rises in value. As the Arthas ban, Illidan is what I'm screaming the light here.
I think I like it because the Medivh takes care of the fact that it's like, all right, you know, like Arthas doesn't have mobility, and Medivh can kind of grant that, does very well to just walk into team fights, be aggressive.
I would like that ban, though, to still work with whatever offlane pick that they're wanting. To make that not just for the Medivh, because you let the Medivh through, so if you had to ban around that later on, you're still banning to deal with the Medivh, and I think that's too many resources in one direction if it doesn't synergize with your offlane. Especially with that Cassia ban, that's double auto attackers removed.
I'm now curious. So Volatas is available if they want to go that. But then you have Murden on the other side. Both Murden and Arthas have versions of block to deal with that style of play. So the Malthael Tassadar.
Is Dahaka dead in North America? At least through this series. It's crazy. I mean,
we saw the one game where he was banned early.
Yeah,
I've been Sky Temple.
First dude to be like, I think this is too much Dahaka. I'm not that. He's a walking global. That's pretty cool, but I think he needs to drop off. But how little on Dragonshire and Towers?
Oh,
Stitches Medivh. How are you gonna deal with this, LFM?
With the
Malfurion.
The Malfurion makes me want a Tracer now. I can play around the Force of Will, but I think we're going to get a Vala. Vala with Hot Pursuit and just in general with the Hatred stacks and getting the movement speed makes it easy to dodge hooks. Indomitable is on a short enough cooldown to where you can wear those. Malthael, self-cleanse, but also escape options later. Tassadar, Dimensional Shift, Vala, mobility. So Stitch's hooks are going to have to be on point.
This draft is...
There he is.
On an edge here for both teams, I feel. Between the Stitches of Endemic, but Taz Vala still being picked up here from the team of LFM into Medivh, though. This is the biggest thing I want to point out is the double support is really good and really cool, but Medivh does it better. Pretty much is probably the best way to describe why he gets banned out in a lot of cases. And so as long as he gets a little value out of the portal, I feel like that is going to trade up onto things like the Garrosh and the squishiness of the Malthael a lot better, especially if we hit anywhere near a valuable polybomb.
I really think that Twilight Dream is a must here.
Yeah.
Because Raynor is not the... Look, if I get a Hook Gorge into a portal and I dip out of here, I better hope that it's not a Malthael or a Garrosh, because both of those can live long enough to either steal life or taunt and keep you there. Because Raynor is not the Executioner. He is in this composition, but you're going to have to throw everything into that one hero. And I wonder if that might be too much of an overcommitment.
We'll find out, because in the blue, we're going to have Endemic with Dansky there on the Medivh, Cure on the Yrel. We had Mike Udall there on Raynor, B-Kid on Stitches. And I will miss the support of the squad. Big impact on Malfurion.
For LFM, they are trying to take one milestone and put another on top of it, picking up a playoff victory, as it will be Fury on the Garrosh. Swabs will be on the Malthael droplets. We know what he's done on the Vala. Let's see if he can do it one more time. Biggie will be on the Tassadar, helping to support, and the true support. Here is Dark Chimera on the Deku.
Winner of this game moves on to take on the next challenger of North America awaiting these teams, Team Freedom.
And before we get too far into this game, that game will be today after this series. There will be a short break after this. So do not forget that it will be there. Droplets, the aggression. He is more than willing to stay on that side. Fury goes in. And Michael Udall said, nah, I don't want you here.
Yeah, really good round there to be able to interrupt the Groundbreaker play. As we see the Swabs versus Cure matchup here. Swabs on that Malthael should be able to pull away with time.
Late game will be really fun to watch. You get the Manticore option for Vala post 16 and junk out. Stitches has the highest base health in the game. You can start to chunk away with that. Malthael last rites can also do a decent amount of damage.
We see the invade here from LFM being very confident with their decision making. Understandably so to a certain extent because of the lack of primary warrior with an easy crowd control. Stitches sharking over the wall as the Raven constantly giving vision.
Yeah. It's one of those.
Oh, baby.
Oh. The root not landing in time. If you can get the root in there, you might have enough time to get the blow up. But Stitches will lurk right above this and will constantly try and hook somebody over the wall. Because if you get hooked over that wall, you do not make it out.
Which is why you see LFM positioning around each one of those sappers and then backing out whenever they're questionably in those range. After it's all said and done, though, Endemic take a very well-primed objective here. Portal thrown down from Dansky there.
That's a lot of commitment. They brought the Urel down, and you look at the experience, there will be some banked experience they can get to, but that top lane is missing a few minions.
It is missing a few minions, but that's one of those moments, too.
You want to see the Malthael?
Yeah, Malthael had an opportunity to get a very easy dismount, or at least investigate it, and we didn't even see if Swabs wanted to dismount that rotation. So, though it was, in theory, I feel like really well executed from LFM, at the same time, a little bit more could have been done, and they actually would have gained something out of this.
Did you deny it?
Whereas with that rotation and then the lack of denying, it puts it in a position where Endemic got probably more, definitely more, now that these sappers made it in.
Dark Chimera is doing a lot to try and thwart those sappers. There's the toss in on Michael Udall. Fury eating a lot of damage, Hook just going to miss. We also see the Strangling Vines picked up to reduce that healing. So when those roots do land, you'll see that negative healing icon.
Both top altars being mirrored from Urel and Malthael. Picking up those shots. We'll see who makes the transition down quicker as Droplets poking and prodding here in this bottom lane. B-Kid off on the side looking for a hook. Portal out. We'll see. Raven Familiar going to get onto Droplets. A lot of damage there, but Swab's now going to be there. The hook back is enough there to get the first kill. Great job here from Endemic. And that's going to allow them to get some threat. But meanwhile, Dark Chimera actually sneaking in those shots.
Yeah, I think you pointed it out best there, Dreadnought. It was all about the Ravens. Those come through, and you hear looking to do that damage. That's why a lot of that burst damage came in. Biggie with the self-heal, not enough, and there's going to be another hook landing, and Dark Chimera will fall here. Or will he? B-Kid should have the extra slam damage. There's a heal. Does he make it?
Hook in 3. Not in 3. Slam over wall, penetrating round. Dark Chimera
live.
Calculated.
Ooh. They know we're watching. They're like, yeah. We let one get away.
The question I have, J-Hal, after watching the first altar phase kind of unfold is, first of all, I feel like Endemic did do a really good job with the Raven initiation onto the Vault isolated. I think that can show some of the holes maybe of this composition. Biggie dimensional shift, nobody around to threaten anything though. It's just going to be what that kind of looks like as this game moves forward. Hold on though, Indomitable use, Fury going to flip back, big impact. Malfurion, not the beast he used to be. That being said, not sure that any Malfurion would have survived that one. Great job from LFM.
The Ravens come out again. Fury gets hooked in. He'll survive for now. Trying to make the play, gets the toss back over, getting some damage in. Droplets putting it out, but a nice force of will. Fury getting low here. Does receive some heals on the way out.
Portal down once more. The team's able to make it out here. 8 seconds from the next altar phase. Minion wave on bottom near dead even when it comes to vision, information, and control. Durell and Garrosh going towards bottom while Medivh scouts out towards the middle shrine.
Medivh, the Mystic Assault, trying to play around the skill of landing multiple ones in a row as Droplets comes in, puts some damage onto Michael Udall. Cure jumps in. Altar was channeled there by Endemic, but LFM with a small lead, 32-28 in the core health.
I really love this build on the Medivh. It's one of my preferred Medivh builds overall. The individual damage output that you have as a mage, especially when you can complete with that Master's Touch. That dimensional shift's too early. This may be Figgy going down. Nice into the fray there. Portal's going to be laid. Raven Familiar procs, and there's another kill. Great job here by Endemic. And J-How, this is part of the reason I always talk about Dansky with his Medivh and why he is so high impact. If you, every portal he's laid has either been a very high saving point, a very big zoning threat, or it's been setting up a kill in some way, shape, or form. He does not waste his portals, and even more so, he's very fluid with his level 1 talent use. So he doesn't always portal around himself and get selfish and force half-second rotations. If you notice the last retreat over mid, willing to just help B-Kid a little bit more, even though his positioning could have been equally as justified. He's a very selfless but yet somehow proactive Medivh player all at the same time here. Now 6 stacks away from completing that default quest.
Those kills and the rotations have given Endemic an early lead as they are getting near 10. LFM will look to soak up in the meantime. We do get the Gorge. no surprise, Twilight Dream will be picked up to try and get the full-on healing, and
no
Fury.
No problem.
Dominable walk. I don't know if he lives from this. Yeah.
Droplets.
Those Ravens, my goodness.
Yeah, they're kind of insane. His level 4 is one of the most underestimated probably parts of Medivh's kit since he's been adjusted over time without the armor removal or not being as high of popularity. Having the slows outside of the portal with the bonus damage, mixing that with the damage increase there at level 7, it synergizes really, really well.
I remember hearing from somebody when Deckard started to become a thing. Deckard plus Medivh, Ancient Blessings plus the Ravens. Like, you just step out of there and just,
everything just one-shots.
Yeah.
Like, you're slowed, all of a sudden you're doing 1 million damage. I'll turn around and kill them all. Ancient Blessings quickly says nope to that. It is a really good synergy there between the two. But I will highlight maybe a concern point there if Endemic wants to get as confident with their Gorge play as the game moves on. I think there it was justified. They were just abusing the lack of 9s on the side of LFM.
I thought maybe he would get the flip. They didn't have enough damage nearby. You know, the one thing that will be fun to watch is if we do see that hook Gorge, Dark Chimera has to preemptively put that Lornado down to deny the follow through a portal or to try and keep B-Kid from making it through that portal.
You can't actually deny portal with Lornado though, can you?
Well, I mean, if you push them away from it.
Yeah, but when it really comes down to the, well, good night, my sweet Vala.
Everybody just walks away.
Yeah, they know he's dead. There's no way around it. His strategy has very little counterplay.
Urel's trying to...
Don't get hooked. That's about the only counterplay.
Yeah. Tough going here in the early game. In terms of experience and kill, LFM has managed to pick up several of the altars to keep themselves in the game core health-wise. And with Towers of Doom, we know that anything can happen at any time. Right now, they're trying to hold on to the spot lane, and Tassadar gets melted. Fury, he's probably next.
As we see the portal thrown down to stop any kind of saving attempt there onto LFM. Swab's actually going to flank from behind of Endemic here. Going to try and set up the fight. Scroll of Ceiling not going to connect with anybody yet. But Endemic is able to make it out. 13 talent here just around the corner. Mike Udall is going to posture up, pick up this shot. There's going to be 4 more at the base of LFM. Setting their core now down to 24. Now, can we appreciate? Oh, it just doesn't stop. This time it is Garrosh. He has Indomitable after.
I'd like to say that there's a chance, but when you're that far away from the team, you just sit back and watch.
Yeah, it was really well done there.
Like Twilight Dream has not even been used for this.
Well, I think the most important thing to highlight, oh, good hook attempt again, is actually Dansky's polybombs are really, really well done. The first one onto the Tassadar, the polybomb before he could dimensional shift dodge on the Stitches hook. Made it to where it's a free kill there. Then, for instance, on the Garrosh, if Indomitable is available, if he immediately pops it, or you saw him want to wait and not immediately pop it, because last time he did that, the roots eventually they just go down. So he's like, is Mouth going to root? Mouth didn't root, so he didn't end up using it. But you can just open with the polybomb in that type of situation, sets up the root afterwards, whereas it's not the case when looking at the root into the polybomb. It's been clean here from Endemic.
Well, LFM's going to give up 3 shots at the bottom. They're going to try and trade out with the 4 here in the top. They picked up a keep in the top lane for themselves, get them some experience. So trying to stay in this game in any way that they can. Triple altar phase will be our next phase, and that is 25 seconds away. This could be a turning point for both of these teams.
Sappers make their way in. 21 remain there for LFM. They are not at the floor breaking point there to where those shots may not come back to bite them, but we'll find out as this game is going to unfold. Urel and Malthael pick up the top, going to be mirrored.
We'll have a fight on even footing for both of these teams. You can see the portal already ready in case that hook comes in. Not going to land. Fury will walk forward. We'll look for a hook again in about 10 seconds from now. Swabs goes forward, putting some damage onto others, but Biggie instantly gets flipped. That's not where you want to be. That's going to be a major pickup for LFM to grab this altar as the hook is dodged.
Swaps, gets the channel, and they pick up the shots here, gaining the momentum back here towards LFM.
Just
very
like that.
impressive. Yeah, very impressive to be able to get that combo. I didn't get to see where Dansky was to see if he was in position to get the Force of Will out or if he had used it onto somebody else. The portal was there. Hold on. Huge hook. Portal taken. That's a Deckard Kane, too. I'm not sure he can make it out of this.
Yeah, the Lornado was used already, but the Rain of Vengeance will buy time, but there's Dansky following up on damage. Fury comes in. They don't have minions on here, which is so surprising.
That hook.
Another hook's going to land into the fray. Fury tries to survive, but they don't make it away. Swab's trying to take down somebody. Last Rites was used.
Endemic walk up to the base of LFM and take more than maybe anybody expected there.
Post 16, I think Tassadar can clear those waves and allow the minions to move forward because they have no minions to soak those shots, which is why we saw Endemic comfortably and confidently use that hook and pull them directly under that keep.
Now get another bell tower conversion. As you see, B-Kid always taking time to rid of those sidewalls. That really helps his hooking capabilities because he does actually hook sidewalls. No shish kebab this game, J-Hal. No clever plays around that.
See a lot of the slam with the slow at this one.
The pulverize.
See if he goes that route. That bottom keep is starting to fall low. They did give up the middle one. And with the next altar phase here in the top two, should allow LFM some time to clear this and then make the rotation up. But the positioning, this is very similar. What you saw in that bot lane before is the same positioning we're getting from Endemic now. Tassadar with the Oracle will reveal some heroes, but they're trying to make an identical play.
Rail starts left, top left channel. Big Impact should not be the person starting that channel. He needs a portal.
Oh, he's in
trouble. He's going to get a shield and a portal now. But it doesn't matter.
Hard to take the portal when you're taunted, but there's going to be the hook and nice Indomitable use. Nice Indomitable use will keep Fury alive. Dansky's being tracked down. Swab's trying to take his life. Will be unable to do so. Just like that, LFM fights their way back in again.
That was a really good, I mean, near flawless setup to that situation, J-Hal. The only problem is putting Big E as the channeler. He has no ice block. He is not, he's, Malfurion, I want a billion heroes between me and the ally, every time. No case do I want to be the face checker of any circumstance whatsoever, especially into a Garrosh composition. And the argument, I think, is the Armadiv will keep you alive within that down frame time, but clearly not the case. Good punishment here from LFM.
They're going to try and hook over the wall. He did go the extra range. Ooh. Just missed.
Two sappers do make their way in on bottom, though. And now we're back here to near dead even game.
LFM, every time they get down, they fight back. These teams continue to go. Look for another hook attempt. We'll grab another sapper. With that downtime, that's why you see anytime that hook doesn't land, LFM will look. They have that small 16-second window to move forward, see if they can find something for themselves, but then they have to hit the reset button to fear for it again.
It's a fun little mini game. Pretty much just every time you hear that very distinct hook cue, add 16, let a timer, count it out in comms and say, we can fight up until this point, and then past that point, be afraid. Very, very afraid. And they may be here. 12 seconds out from the bottom altar. Minion wave heavily in favor of Endemic, and that matters a lot when it comes to the Stitch's vision control towards that hook. Lands
the hook in.
That's a Fury. He's going to go over the wall. Sidewall is available. Indomitable will be there. He's trying to buy time.
Yeah, Cura's, he does have Ardent Defender, so he'll pop that, and now LFM, there's going to be another hook in onto Chimera. The Polybomb is starting to spread around. Michael Udall somehow survives, and Droplets, they're trying to trade out. But that is another member down as Deckard falls, Garrosh finally falls, and then Mouthill. The third, the Raven Familiar. Droplets will sidestep some of that damage, trying to stay alive. He needs to try and get to safety. B-Kid, does he have another hook? He does.
Great job there, though, out from Figgy to make sure he wore that just to ensure that the dimensional shift would be enough to get the retreat. Endemic want to waste no time, get this bottom bell tower conversion as they go on to Figgy. No dimensional shift available. Keeping track of that cooldown all game long here. Another pick, bell tower conversion back into their favor. And this will be 5 shots on bottom. Setting LFM now to 8 shots remaining onto their core. And more importantly here, the 20 advantage in favor of Endemic.
They're trying to get over. They are tracking down on it. They're going for not just one, but another. The Sappers will be spawning in staggered times. Endemic, they get this down, Dreadnought. Sappers spawning in a moment at the bottom left. By the time they finish the bottom left, the bottom right will be available. This will put LFM in a dire situation to reclaim control of the bottom, but then the boss is available. They're not going to use the Sapper camps as a diversion. They'll go straight towards the boss. That will concede control to that bottom bell tower for now.
It doesn't threaten lethal, but it threatens the next altar phase 20 advantage to be very, very dire in favor of Endemic here. B-Kid going down, questioning if he can maybe get a miracle hook play. His 3 HP now remain. Not going to find the target there.
Well, they have the Sappers now in 20-tier advantage. Should reclaim that bottom. LFM, they need to position themselves to the north side of this, and you can see on the minimap they recognize just that, but the portal comes over. They're making a portal play.
And now they make a portal play back. Now get to help escort those Sappers on bottom. Also, can we just take a minute to appreciate the Rainer use of the Banshee twice in this game to make sure it tanks the keeps and bell towers before the rest of Endemic? That's what happened over mid and why they're able to secure that so freely, beyond the fact that they have a Medivh, but kiting it in, taking damage, and then cutting it away to heal in the downtime.
There's a really tricky thing about taking bell towers is that you take it over, you get the experience after a certain period of time in this map. They turn into keeps in terms of experience. Every time they take one and LFM recaps that actually helped them get to 20 quicker.
So now we got the 20 on 20. The last stand here from LFM. Last time they got in this position, J-How, was over a boss, and they clutched it. Can they here for their playoff lives?
B-Kid looking for the hook, is going to land it. Biggie uses the dimensional shift, but they're going to toss back in. There comes the stun. There's the lockdown for now, but he is hungry for more. Hungry Stitches. There's going to be the taunt, though. The polybomb is going to come down. It's keeping him alive for now. Fury somehow surviving, but he's going to be the first to fall. B-Kid lifted all that. Cure, he's living on the backside as the Ardent Defender comes in. Swaps will be kill number 2 for Endemic. And now LFM, they are going to need a miracle to stay alive in this game as another hook comes in. And just like that, Endemic has punched their ticket to meet Team Freedom later today.
They will be able to move on here towards Team Freedom and be able to take on LFM here in this series at a game number 5. Keeping their composure, J-How. Take it 3-2.
When in doubt, hook
kick
'em
it
out.
old school.
Hook them out. It's the Gilly quote for you all today. But LFM Dreadnought, when they look good, they look great. When they struggled, well, you got to give credit to Endemic in a lot of those situations. The Stitches pick in this game seemed to be the trump card to try and turn this game. It was the wild card comes in. We haven't seen too much Stitches play as of late, and it was enough to turn that game. I'm still surprised the Medivh being let through, but just the ease at which so many of those happen. If you miss 1, 2, 3 of those, it's like, okay, is this worth it? It's a much tougher game. But when you land at that frequency, you're like, huh, okay, this is going pretty well.
Yeah, and I think that came down to a little bit draft. LFM didn't expect the Stitches behind the Medivh. They expected the Medivh, but then, you know, more standard rest of the composition. So by the time we got the Stitches, how many draft variations you can have to deal with Stitches was very, very low. What you try to do is the Tacitars, right? For anybody who doesn't know, to deal with this type of strategy, because the win condition comes through a hook gorge, you just pick targets who have iframes that aren't going to get hit by the gorge or by the Stitches hook initially. Things like Abathur's great because he just doesn't even have a body to get a hook on and things like that. So not having enough of those kind of wild heroes to be able to vary from there. And, I mean, they just did a really good job. You could see why, you know, Endemic is a team that, out of the few where we see the Medivh bans, like why I go, it's expected against a roster like this, because when they got it, all of them were using the portal passives very, very well.
The Raven seemed to